We got another call here, too, from 807 in Canada, Ontario area. Who are you speaking with?
Oh, hi, Joe and Marilyn. My name is Elmar.
Hi.
Hi, Elmar. How are you doing?
Hi, Elmar.
Hi, Hi, you know who I am.
I sure do. Elmar, it's great to talk to you.
Yeah, it's great to finally. I've been bugging Joe, and I've been suggesting to you to get on Joe's show. In my opinion,
wasn't I just telling you someone was talking about you? I told her that too. I said someone has been bugging me to death to get you on the show, and I'm trying to figure out who it is.
Yeah, it's me, Joe. About a year ago, you read my about my theophany and a little bit of my life on air. And I don't know if you remember that. Anyway, yeah, it was about Halloween last year, and it was about my experience meeting God on the beach.
Oh yeah, I remember. That. Yeah,
the theophany. So I wrote. I joined Marilyn's Facebook page, and I wrote a larger letter about that experience and a little bit more about my life. But I just wanted to, I've had one very disturbing out-of-body experience, and I'll just quickly tell you what happened here. I got into the vibrational state. I use the certain video. It's extremely powerful using, hypnosis, binaural beats. And anyway, it gets me into the trance state and went into this vibrational state. And most of them have been pretty pleasant, the out-of-body experiences I've met. Actually, I flew by Christ and 3 kids while out in outer space. It was a very, very profound experience. Yeah, it was. I had just learned how to fly. I was kind of standing in space. There was a planet over to my left. And anyway, and a voice said to me, "Put your arms out, eh?" And I started flying through space like I was on a roller coaster. Now, here's the crazy part. I went back into my body for a moment, and I could feel G-forces of the actual flying around astrally.
I've felt that before too, but only when I was a child. I did.
Yeah, it was wild. It was like I really was like I was on a roller coaster. Just imagine being on a roller coaster twisting around, except I'm flying in outer space. Maybe I'll just quickly, I know you're going to come up to a break soon. So anyway, I'm flying, and I can see what I thought was a star ahead.
Okay.
And as I was flying closer to the star, I could see a figure. Well, first I could see this white kind of arched doorway with 3 steps. So if you can imagine that. And on those steps were 3 little kids. Probably 3. I get choked up because this was pretty profound. So I saw the kids, and I saw somebody in a white robe with a beard, long hair, talking to these kids. If I was an artist, I should talk to Jürgen Ziwa, and maybe he can make an animation of this because it was so profound. So as I was getting closer to this Christ, I assumed he was Christ with 3 little kids, I could feel that love, that unconditional love that I felt on that beach back in 1996. And I thought I was going, to meet them, meet the kids, but I was, kind of did a flyby to his left.
Okay.
I just quickly wanted to just mention about this disturbing one. I was falling, just in blackness, falling and falling and falling, and I could see what I thought were white lights on the walls. And as I was falling closer to the ground, they weren't lights. They were demons. That's the only thing I can. Yeah, it was super, super disturbing. And I landed, once I landed, I was surrounded by the craziest thing. The bodies looked like zombies, arms straight out. The face was covered with a gold, like a gladiator mask, but very, very bright gold. Now, I was in the middle of all of this, but I was also observing myself, and somebody was with me. And I remember looking out over all of these zombies, and I thought, telepathically, I thought, well, there's millions of them. And the voice said to me, not millions, billions.
Not millions, but billions.
Billions, yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. And with just what's going on in the world, like this was about 2.5, 3 years ago when this happened. And anyway, as the zombies were, last thing I remember in that realm was just going down as all of these zombies were just kind of over me. And I yelled out just one name, Christ. And then I ended up in another realm. And I'll just quickly mention this.
Yeah, because we're going into break right now.
Have a break here. Yeah, it was imagine the London wheel, the Ferris wheel on the side, and each one of the capsules had the worst thing I'd ever done on it. So yeah, I'm not going to get an answer to this. I just thought it was part of my initiation.
Well, we can have her answer you when we come back from the break. If you want to hang out during the break, because we do got to take a break. But if you want to ask, that's fine.
Yeah,
we'll
sorry,
right back,
I'm
guys.
so excited to talk.
It's okay. It's all right. We'll be right back.
To call Joe, pick up the phone, dial 1-800-588-0335, toll free from the United States or Canada.
All right, welcome back to Lighting the Void. We're here with our guest tonight, Marilyn Hughes. We just got through taking a call from Elmar, that's right. And that is the person who actually wanted me to get Marilyn on the show. And he kind of told a pretty cool but harrowing story about falling into these demons. That's probably the most creepiest thing I've ever heard you say, not millions, but billions. That was kind of freaky.
Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead, Marilyn.
The vision that he's had, this experience is pretty, has a lot of meaning embedded within it. And I kind of wanted to touch on it because there's a lot of imagery here that I think is relevant to the world as a whole. A lot of people are having these types of experiences. And so, starting from the beginning, he's falling down. And he's seeing what he thinks are lights, but as he progresses, he sees that they're demons. And again, Satan comes as an angel of light, and so it's a delusion. It's something that is it's not what it appears to be. And then he lands on the ground, and there's billions of zombies. The zombies are representative of human souls who have gotten lost in the mass retain. They are wandering around like zombies. We are in a bit of an apocalyptic time. This is why people are having these experiences. I've had many of them. Many others have also shared similar ones. Many prophets, modern day prophets, are having these types of experiences as well. What's happening is we have a huge amount of human beings who have chosen to remain asleep to all things spiritual during their incarnation here, and that's brought us to a turning point, so to speak, which is forcing this, this internal struggle that is becoming larger, this battle between the principalities and powers of good and evil, and is raging inside of us, outside of us, and it's becoming more of a world event, because there's going to be this showdown where everybody has to choose, where do I stand? And so what he's seeing there is, and what you're seeing here too, and I don't know if Elmar is still on the line with us, but
I am.
You're feeling that horrendousness of what it means to be a, quote, zombie, to have lost all spiritual inclination, to have fallen, because, in the spiritual world, it is our sin, our vices, our fetters, our cravings, which weighs the soul down. And this is exactly what happens in the mystical spheres. The more of those things that are attached to your soul, the weight drags you further and further down into the darkness. We don't realize how much lukewarmness and complete indifference harms us and harms the human race, because we completely turn off all spiritual input. And the human being is not meant to be just a physical creature. We are we are powered by that fire of the spirit. And so when that light goes out, we become a very dark race.
Have you ever noticed too, sometimes, now that we are talking about that, how sometimes we'll stay in the comfort of our own misery? I mean, we could look across the bridge and say, across that bridge is my happiness, but I'm afraid to go across that bridge. I'm miserable here, but it's more comfortable and safe.
Well, yeah. And, this even goes back to what we were talking about earlier, which is, we are so afraid to just acknowledge our faults. And what we don't realize is that we are all the same. We're all struggling with the same kinds of struggles, the same kinds of things to overcome. And once we recognize that there is no shame in recognizing what it is that we need to do to actually bring ourselves back to life, there's no shame in that. The irony is that what Elmar saw was what it really looks like not to do it, which is the billions of zombies, because this is what we are seeing. There was a mystic in the 1600s by the name of Emanuel Swedenborg who wrote about this as well. Many other mystics have done so, where in the spiritual world, we see things as they truly are. And this is how I also experience it. So when a soul crosses over after death, they will become that which they truly love. And so what Elmar was seeing, he was seeing what this actually looks like, what this looks like in the spirit. We don't realize that what we see physically does not reflect the interior. Elmar saw the interior of what it means to have a world filled with zombies who are extinguishing the fire of the Holy Spirit within themselves. That's what it looks like.
Did you feel fear when you were fallen, or when you saw what you saw?
Oh yeah, I was totally I was just thrashing around, just falling, it wasn't like the other one where I'm in outer space and things are kind of under control, except for who I met. But I was totally out of control. I was scared.
Okay. And I didn't mean to cut you off there, Marilyn. I was just curious when the fear hit.
And to see what his experience is also showing is one of the actual epical moments that occur during the discipline pathway of the soul, where the soul is actually being instructed in the real and true energetic nature of good and evil. And so we are then taken, into these things. We're taken into these hell realms. We're taken into the real truth behind the things that we do. And what he was seeing was the real truth behind spiritual extinction and the fact that it is prevalent to the point that it is on Earth. And what a serious, serious state that is. And this is why his experience was so important, not just to Elmar, but in sharing it with your listeners, because it has a meaning and significance for anyone who is to hear it, that this is the reality we wish to avoid. This is the reality that we wish to overcome. This is not something we want to sustain.
And those stars you saw could have just been us. Just, I mean, if God is light, then what are we but broken pieces of light that have fallen? I would say that. I don't know.
Well, the things what he had seen and what he had said he had seen was these pieces of light, but as he was falling, he realized that they were not pieces of light, they were demons. And so we had talked about
were the eyes of the eyes of the demons. Yeah, they looked like kind of bats clinging to a wall of a cave.
Oh man.
But, their eyes were white
that's
lights.
Creepy.
Yeah.
These are
the types
these are very typical experiences that you'll have when you're being taught about the dark side and about how do we discern evil. These are the types of experiences. So this is actually very good. And it's interesting because we see it as creepy, but what we need to do is see it as instructional, because his experience tells us a lot.
You got another question, Elmar?
So I just wanted to mention, you both know that, I think, that I grew up on the streets here in Thunder Bay, and I was, involved in the biker world, and I know true evil. I know true evil. I knew psychopaths that, caused a lot of harm to other people, and maybe this is a lesson for me to just stay on the path I'm at. And do good. I work with addicts. I work with the so-called scum of society, and this was maybe a lesson to just, we all have to make a decision. Either we're part of the problem or we're part of the solution. And I've had to learn this the hard way, and hopefully others don't have to go through what I've been through to learn that, love is where it's at.
Well, I appreciate your call, brother. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thanks, Elmar. Great to talk to you for the first time.
Marilyn, thank you for who you are and what you do. And Joe, just keep doing what you're doing. You're the best.
Oh, thanks, man.
Good night.
You have a good night.
Thanks, Elmar.
You got a fan for life there, because that is definitely the guy that was telling me, get Marilyn Hughes on. That's him, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And very persistent
on Facebook. Yeah.
Very persistent about it.